This is Hong Kong. Home to 7 million people, it's a fast-paced, hard-working city with multinational businesses trading within skyscrapers hundreds of meters above the bustling streets. On ground level, there is a thriving local community who cater for those who live and work amongst this fascinating city.
As part of our Photo Escapes series, John and I have been invited to film and photograph the plastic crisis here in Hong Kong. During our journey, we learn what the problems are and what we can do to reduce this epidemic of plastic consumption. We've been invited here by the NGO EcoDrive to film and photograph the plastic recycling issues.
Yeah, this project is really personal to me, especially because my mum's Hong Kong Chinese and I grew up here. But I'm also looking forward to showing Matt all the sights of Hong Kong as well.
Yeah, I really cannot wait to look around. I've heard so much about this city and it's supposed to be amazing.
Another challenge we're going to do while we're here is we're going to be completely plastic free. And that's going to add another challenge into it.
It's not going to be easy at all, is it?
It's going to be good fun to try though.
Yeah.
And it'll show all the challenges of what it is to go completely plastic free.
We've created a material that is almost indestructible, yet more than half the plastic we consume is only used once, after which we throw it out to landfills and waterways where it will live on for hundreds of years.
Every single piece of plastic you've ever used still exists in some form. Think of every plastic spoon you've ever used, every toothbrush, every plastic bag. They're all still sitting or floating somewhere polluting our planet. Matt and I visited a beach in the New Territories to find out for ourselves.
There's so much plastic here, it's absolutely disgusting. Most of it is actually food and beverage. You know, we've got plastic forks, we've got loads of different types of straws, got toothpaste, loads of plastic bottles. If I pick up a handful of beach or sand, it's not now sand, it's now just very small bits of plastic. And these very small bits of plastic are now going to stay here for another 500 years.
This tube has got bite marks in the side from fish. And that's one of the biggest problems about these plastics, is that it's not just that they're ending up in our landfills, but that it's actually ending up in our food chain too. This might have only been nibbled on by a small fish, but that's going to be eaten by a bigger fish, and we're going to eat those fish. So the toxins from the plastic are ending up inside our own bodies.
Hong Kong has some stunning beaches. Popular ones such as this one in Sheko are cleaned by government workers up to 14 times a day. Just 5 minutes around the bay, out of the public eye, we were told about this beach.
That is bad, isn't it?
That is shocking. I didn't actually think it was going to be as bad as people said.
I didn't either. The amount of plastic here is unbelievable.
This beach does get cleaned up, and still it looks like this.
This is not stuff that has been accumulated over a period of years. This is quite recent stuff, isn't it?
And you can see in the waves, it's just, I mean, there's loads of plastic in the waves.
Yeah.
There's a big pink chair over there on its way in.
Oh yeah, so you can see that, you know, it's a constant stream of rubbish.
How guilty do you feel? Because I know that in the UK, I'm not as conscious as I should be. And this has made me realise that I actually need to change my ways. Like, it's pretty appalling. Witnessing firsthand where lots of our discarded plastics end up was a real shock. As most of it seemed to come from the food and beverage industry, we went back to the city to check out its source. We've come to a congee shop on the busy streets of Sheung Wan during the lunch break. Congee is a kind of rice soup broth which has flavours added to it, which is where a lot of people go on their lunch hour.
The problem is people are not now coming down to the congee shops in order to have lunch for an hour. now they stay up in their offices, and then they have actually delivery people to deliver their congee to their offices. And that's why they have to package everything up. There's quite a lot of plastic involved in a takeout delivery of congee. So you've got the big bag, obviously, to hold all of your congee, but congee comes in loads of different packets. So you've got sauces.
Sauces all come in their individual plastic containers. We spoke to an artist who said that 50 years ago, they'd all come down with their own little tin and get it filled with congee. So it's almost become habit that everyone just uses plastics now out of convenience, when it's just as easy to use your own container.
Yeah. Taking up our challenge to go plastic waste free while here in Hong Kong, we took some reusable containers to a local restaurant for lunch to see how they would react.
I've just ordered some char siu with some white rice, and they're just putting it, thank you, they're just putting it into my reusable container. Result perfect.
As the world wakes up to the dangers of single-use plastic, organisations such as One Earth, One Ocean are planning ambitious ocean cleanups on a global scale. We were invited to one of their prototype boats, the Seeker, to see it working firsthand.
We chatted to Holger from One Earth, One Ocean about the plastic crisis.
Today we're talking about at least 140 million tons plastic waste in the water.
Wow.
First of all, we have to change the way we are using plastic, because when you do a beach cleanup here, you find almost 85–90% of all the plastic waste is about food and beverage packaging. So that means this is used for, let's say, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and then it ends up for 400 years in the environment.
It can take years for these plastic particles to reach the middle of the ocean, where they are suspended in water, too dense to float, but too light to sink. Here, they are ingested by sea creatures. Filter feeders such as whales are especially at risk. A whale can take in 75,000 litres in each mouthful. Imagine how much plastic is in every gulp.
So much damage has already been done that we are now left to desperately try to minimise its effect. The solution that One Earth, One Ocean are developing is a fleet of vessels that will trawl the oceans collecting plastic. Smaller boats such as the Seeker will serve a larger lead ship where the plastic will immediately be turned into almost sulphur-free fuel. Whilst cleaning up our oceans is not a solution to the plastic problem, it is a necessary step to combat the existing threat to marine life. Do you think people are heading in the right direction, albeit very slowly?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. But yeah, still a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And it depends where you are. In Asia, it's of course a little bit behind. Right now we have 5 countries responsible for almost 80% of the plastic pollution in the world.
Wow.
Other people than us have to spend money or invest money, because after all, it is also business, right?
Yeah.
The plastic is really, it is a multi-million-dollar business. Yeah, it is not, actually it's not waste.
One such business in the plastic industry is this recycling centre. So we've just arrived at a recycling centre on the outskirts of Hong Kong.
Apparently this is one of the only recycling centres that only deals with waste generated in Hong Kong. It doesn't import any of its plastics. Hong Kong's 7 million residents are estimated to throw away 5.2 million plastic bottles every day. Given this huge number, Hong Kong's recycling plants should be inundated. However, we were told how this one is struggling to even get enough plastic to operate on a daily basis. On the day we visited, the plastic processing machine was lying idle.
Other recycling plants are therefore being forced to import bales of plastic from overseas in order to operate sustainably. These bales still need sorting when they arrive, and whatever is not required is sent to one of Hong Kong's already 40-storey deep landfill sites. We asked Jackson what he thought the solution was to Hong Kong's plastic problem.
I think education may help, but not for short term.
Not for short term.
Yeah, because you can educate the children, the kids to do it, but maybe take 5 to 10 years to take the result. It's a little thing for you to do it, but when every people is doing this, it's become a really big step and big thing.
Yeah.
It's helping us, helping the world, helping the environment.
We could not believe what Jackson told us some of the manufacturers are doing.
They wanted to make the cost cheaper, so they mix some like mark the sand inside the plastic.
Okay.
It will make it become non-recyclable.
It has to go to landfill?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is one of the 3 landfill sites in Hong Kong, where all the unrecycled plastic ends up. It is toxic below ground and an eyesore on the landscape above. But most of all, this site in front of you is avoidable if we all start to take action, however small. We as consumers have the power to make a big difference with very small actions and stop plastic ending up in these landfill sites. No 4 words say it better than EcoDrive's tagline: start small, start now. We spoke to some of the Hong Kong residents to see what small things they are doing. We spoke to an employee of a restaurant in Shanghai.
Most of the customers, they're coming or maybe they are working around this side. They will not bring their own box. We are charging for takeaway for extra charge. But if they bring it, we are deduct the amount for them.
So you give them an incentive to come back with the same box, because they will save money?
Yes, correct.
Do you think the restaurant has to change, or do you think the customer has to change?
Both. Actually, the restaurant should be changed first, and then we educate the customer.
We then tried following EcoDrive's motto of start small, start now, to see what we have the power to do as customers. I didn't actually realise they existed, but we've got hold of these compostable coffee mugs, and they act exactly like plastic. They're made from the inside of a sweet corn. I'm going to go and get a coffee from Starbucks because they offer a discount if you bring your own mug. Thank you. I think part of the problem is you don't want to be a nuisance to the people working in these places, but the more people just do it, the more it will become the norm and people will get used to it. And somewhere like Starbucks, they actually advertise giving you a discount, so you know it's going to work. And I haven't used any plastic. The impact will be much greater if consumers and businesses work together to reduce plastic consumption.
Even tiny changes such as refusing a straw makes a difference. Right, it'll be interesting to see how our Cokes arrive. Right. So you can see the default is to give you a straw with it. You can very easily just refuse the straw, goes back in the pot, and then we don't use any plastic. Continuing our plastic-free journey, we needed to find a way to fill up our reusable water bottles. Well, we're just having a 5-minute break, and on these trips we literally can be walking around for 12 hours straight, can't we? Yeah. But apparently there's an app to show us how to fill up our water bottle.
Yeah, we've just been told about an app called Water for Free, which is an app that shows you all of the locations nearby that have water fountains, so you can find them easily, because convenience when you need a drink and you're absolutely parched is really important.
Like now?
Like exactly now.
Okay, right, how far is it?
Closest one is Grassroots Pantry, and that's like a minute's walk away. The Water for Free app works perfectly. We were on our way in less than a minute with a full bottle of water that had cost us nothing.
An increasing number of people are trying to go completely plastic free, such as Chris, who we met at Hong Kong's first zero waste shop.
Like, plastic isn't all bad, but I guess moderation is key, and in this case, because there's so much already, so why don't I cut down? I guess if everybody just saw how much was going in the ocean, or like how much impact this is making on the earth, I mean, hopefully they would think the same. Well, I think Hong Kong people, they always seem to think that one person's effort isn't enough to change the world. But I guess right now we have to change, like reallocate our demand to stores probably like this, like zero waste. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get there.
We happened across this community-run recycling stand, a really encouraging sign that people are taking action. We chatted to KY about the reason why it was set up.
Because most of the citizens in Hong Kong, they don't believe in a recycling facility of the government. For example, the recycling bin. They know that most of the recyclables will go to the landfill.
咁但係有好多人都唔敢做喎。
點解咧？因為如果你唔做，日日都係嗰啲污糟嘢、嗰啲塑膠影響到地球，咁你唔做，做多做少都好啦。
咁孭住呢啲好重㗎喎，係啊，唔怕。
我仲可以做得到。
During our plastic journey here in Hong Kong, we've learnt about the plastic problem, seen what organisations and individuals are doing, and discovered simple ways to reduce our plastic consumption.
We observed how single-use plastic's best qualities have resulted in its overuse, especially in a world driven by convenience and consumerism.
While organisations such as One Earth, One Ocean are developing innovative approaches to ocean plastic cleanup, the long-term solution has to be to reduce plastic consumption. In the meantime, Hong Kong needs to develop its infrastructure around plastic recycling.
As Hong Kong starts to become more aware of the plastic problem, it will only become easier to achieve as consumers and manufacturers start to collaborate more and more.
If we can ask you to take away just one thing from this film, simply make it to do something right now. Whether you buy a reusable water bottle, refuse plastic straws, or just spread the word, it really is that simple.
Hong Kong is a unique city, one that I am proud to have roots in. It has dynamic people who are ready for change. We have been encouraged by so many people we have met during the making of this film, and we feel hopeful that with greater understanding and a collective conscious effort, the tide will turn on this plastic epidemic that is destroying the world that we live in. What we have learned is that it doesn't matter why you get involved. All that matters is that you do. Bring your own reason. Start small. Start now.